Welcome to the Leaving Cert Guidance podcast. My name is Donnchadh. I'm a secondary school guidance counsellor and I also run the Leaving Cert Guidance Instagram and TikTok pages. On today's show, we're talking about the CAO and I'm joined by Eileen Keleghan, Communication Officer from the CAO. Eileen, you're welcome back onto the podcast.
Thanks, Donnchadh.
So we've a big couple of days ahead of us because on the 5th of November, the CAO application will open up. So Eileen, when a student goes on to cao.ie/apply, what can they expect?
Yes, so what applicants will find when they click onto the apply section of the website is a very straightforward form where they're just asked to enter their personal details, so their name, address, email address, date of birth, and then they have to select a category to let us know how they want their application to be assessed. So for somebody who's applying who is applying on the basis of leaving certificate results, they'll be selecting the leaving certificate category. If an applicant has QQI further education, they'll be selecting that category. Or if there's a mature applicant, they may be selecting leaving cert, QQI, mature, and third level if they have previously attended. So you can select as many categories that are relevant to you. Make sure to inform CAO of all qualifications. And then the applicant just has to create a password and make a payment, and all going well, their CAO application number will appear on screen. And that's the first step of the application process complete. And you'll notice that at no point were you asked to enter your course choices. So hopefully this will encourage applicants to just get started and obtain the CAO application number early, at least before the 20th of January, and you get your application at the discounted fee of €30.
Yeah, so the CAO number is a big one. And I always say that to people who are applying for DARE or HERE or the HBAT, that they have to have their CAO number to start out with. You just mentioned there that some of the CAO applicants might be able to select more than one kind of qualification that they have. How does that work then, Eileen? Which one are they given an offer based on?
So it will be the set of results that gives the applicant the best outcome. So it's always important just to let us know about everything. Don't be afraid to put a qualification down there because you think you didn't do that well in it. What we will do as CAO and the HEIs, we'll assess the application and we'll use the set of results that gives the applicant the best outcome.
Brilliant. So you mentioned the 20th of January as an early bird deadline, and I mentioned the 5th of November. Can you walk us through some of the key deadlines that students need to know when applying to the CAO?
Yeah. So after the 20th of January, the next date is the normal closing date, is what we refer to it as, and that is the 1st of February at 5 p.m. So if you leave your application to say after the 20th of January and before the 1st of February, the application fee goes up to €45. So this is the normal closing date, and this is the date by which you really should have your application in so that you avoid any potential restrictions. The 1st of February is also important if you're thinking of applying for HERE, so the Higher Education Access Route, or for DARE, the Disability Access Route to Education. If you're considering applying for either or both of those schemes, you need to have your CAO application complete by the 1st of February at 5 p.m. If you're a mature applicant, most of the HEIs require mature applicants to have applied to CAO by the 1st of February at 5 p.m. And if you're thinking of applying for any restricted courses, these are courses listed in the handbook as restricted, see page 3, and they usually require an additional assessment. So you might be required to submit maybe your portfolio or to do an audition or some supplementary assessment. These courses need to be on your application by the 1st of February at 5 p.m. So a lot of stuff, a lot of deadlines. 1st of February really is an important one to watch out for. There is a late application deadline of the 1st of May at 5 p.m. So for anybody who misses the 1st of February, you can use the late application deadline. This facility opens in early March and closes on the 1st of May, and it is €60 if you apply using the late application facility. Just to note though, if you are a mature applicant, you'd want to check with the college before using the late application facility because it may not be possible to apply. And if you, if you're applying and you want to apply for Here or There, you can't apply after the 1st of February. So there, 1st February deadline, and then the next deadline to watch out for anybody who is applying for Here or There. You need to have completed the online Here and There forms. These are forms that are within your online CAO application, and they need to be completed by the 1st of March at 5 p.m. And any supporting documents that you need to submit as part of your Here or There application need to be with CAO by the 15th of March at 5 p.m. And then after that, the other key deadline to watch out for is the change of mind deadline. This is the last date by which you can add or edit or remove your course choices, and that is the 1st of July at 5 p.m. So after that date, you won't be able to make any further changes to your courses. The Change of Mind facility opens on the 6th of May next year. And as I said, it closes on the 1st of July at 5 p.m. So that might seem like a lot of deadlines, and they're all listed on the inside cover of the CAO handbook, and they're all there also on the important dates section of the website.
Yeah, cao.ie/handbook. And really, any questions you have on the CAO, the answer will be in that handbook, and all your course options are there in the handbook as well. So how should students prioritize their course choice on the CAO, Eileen? I know this is a big decision to make, but even having them in the right order is a big decision to make too.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose when the applicants start their application, ideally, if they're starting it in November, December, and as I mentioned earlier, you're not actually asked for any course choices at that point when you're obtaining your CAO number. But then you can log back into your account as many times as you like up to the 1st of February at 5 p.m. to introduce courses. And when you are introducing courses, the important thing to remember is to list your courses in genuine order of preference. And what this means is you put your dream course in first place, your second favorite course in second place, and so on, right the way down to number 10 on your level 8 list. But you also have a level 7/6 list, and you have 10 course choices on that list also. So the level 8 list, these are your honours degree programs, and the level 7/6 list, they are the ordinary degrees and the higher certificates. And you have, as I said, 10 choices on both lists. You don't have to complete both lists, and you don't have to fill out 10 course choices, but you really should give yourself plenty of options. I suppose the easiest way to demonstrate why order of preference is so important is to give an example of some of the problems we encounter at the offer stage when applicants contact us, and they might say, oh, I got my first preference course, but I really wasn't expecting to get it. What I actually wanted was my second preference course. And unfortunately, in that position, because the applicant received an offer of their first preference, they're not going to be considered for their second preference or anything below that. So if they actually preferred the second preference course, it should have been there in first place on their list, not in second place. So it's important that applicants don't list courses based on assumptions what the points are going to be, or assumptions about their own performance. They should really just sit down and think, what is the course I would be most happy with, and put that in first place, and work your way down your list then in order of preference. And at the offer stage, you'll get an offer of the course highest up on your list that you are deemed eligible for. And applicants, I suppose, entering the courses, as I said, you can go in as many times as you like up to the 1st of February. Then there's a break when you can't access your course choices facility. And then it reopens again on the 6th of May, and you can use it again free of charge as many times as you like up to the 1st of July at 5 p.m. So you don't need to know your final list of courses early on. You can have plenty of time to research them, discover new areas of interest, etc., and then pop them down on the application form. Just to note, there is a facility that opens in February and it closes on the 1st of March at 5 p.m. for any applicants who either forgot to put a restricted course down on their application, or if there are any mature applicants who didn't include their courses on their application There's a fee of €10 for this facility, just for anybody who might have forgotten and who was supposed to have something down on their application by the 1st of February at 5 p.m. But in the main, most applicants will use the change of mind facility in the summertime.
So just go back there to the order of preference. Basically, number one, you're saying to the CEO, if I meet the entry criteria and if I get the points, this is the course I want to be offered. And if I don't get the entry criteria, the points for that, the next one I want to be offered is this course. And if I don't get that, it's this course, so on down to 10. So it's really important that that's how it's done.
Yeah.
You mentioned deadlines there. And I always say this to my students, the CEO deadlines are very strict.
We are strict with the deadlines. There is no movement if you miss a deadline. So don't leave something till 5 to 5 on a deadline day. What if your laptop dies, your internet connection fails, or your credit card doesn't process? Unfortunately, if you come to us after a deadline and say you missed it, really there won't be anything that you can do. So don't put yourself under that unnecessary stress. Remember, you might say, oh, well, the change of mind deadline is the 1st of July and I can just log in on the afternoon of the 1st of July, but then sometimes people get locked out of their accounts because they don't have their password or they enter the wrong details too many times. And then that's a very busy day in CIO when you're trying to get through to get your account unlocked. And if you don't get that done before 5 p.m., you won't be able to make that change of mind. So just, don't leave everything to the last minute. It really is strict. And the reason it's strict is we have to be fair to all applicants. We have almost 84,000 applicants every year, and these deadlines are there for a reason, and it is to be fair to everyone.
I remember chatting to you before about restricted courses, and you had gave a great piece of advice. You were saying that if you're not sure about the restricted course, put it on your CU application before the 1st of February. And then when the change of mind opens up, you can take it out at that stage. But if
Yeah.
you go into the change of mind with no restricted course, you can't put it in at that stage.
Yeah, that is the advice. Pop it down if in any kind of doubt about the course. It's very easy to remove it, but not usually not possible to introduce it unless you had another restricted course with the exact same assessment criteria. That would be the only instance where you'd be able to introduce a restricted course using the change of mind in the summertime.
And again, the change of mind. Let's just chat about the change of mind for a bit. So that just means from, I'm not sure the date exactly, but around the 5th of May to the 1st of July, you can change your mind on your course choices as many times as you like, free of charge up until the 1st of July. So you can even do your leaving cert and come out and change your mind, and it's absolutely no problem at all. But how does that facility work? Because it always shocks me every year when you say students that haven't anything down on their CEO list until the change of mind opens up. And is it okay to do that?
Yeah, we would have a significant number, maybe seven or 8,000
Okay.
course choices, which is still a lot. That's like 10% of the applicants. So it's fine, but we would advise applicants to become familiar with adding courses to their application early on. So before the 1st of February at 5 o'clock, to have some courses down there on your application. Not only does it get you used to introducing courses and how it works, but also kind of focuses you on the courses and starting your research, etc. But there are, as I said, some applicants, if they're school leaving applicants competing on the basis of leaving cert and they're not interested in any restricted courses, then they can wait and use the change of mind facility in the summertime. But we would say, definitely try and get some courses down there before the 1st of February.
I think guidance counselors would give that advice as well. And I would be too scared not to have anything down. I'd have to have something down.
Yeah.
So Eileen, how can students ensure that all their information submitted, that it's correct and complete on their CEO application?
Yeah, so in May, they'll get an email from us and it's called the Statement of Application email. And it's a really important email. I mean, all of the emails that you get from CIO are important, but this one particularly to watch out for. And last year we sent it out to Leaving Cert applicants on the 7th of May. So hopefully around the same time next year. And it contains instructions for you to log into your account and check all of your account information is complete and correct. And the things you need to watch out for are your exam details. So check that your Leaving Cert exam number is correct and that the year associated with it is also correct. Don't assume that your Leaving Cert number is correct. Get the number that the State Exams Commission supplied to you and compare it to the number that we have on file for you. Because if you're sitting the Leaving Cert this year, you're not able to enter your Leaving Cert number yourself. We actually get the numbers from the State Exams Commission and we have to compare them to the applicants. We have to match them with the applicants who have applied to us and who have indicated that they're sitting Leaving Certificate this year. So please make sure that that number is there. If you see all zeros beside your Leaving Cert number, then you can click on the edit facility and you can add in your Leaving Cert number, and that is perfectly fine. Once you've entered the correct Leaving Cert exam number, it'll be updated in your application. If you're a QQI applicant, make sure that your PPSN is correct. Any GCE applicants, you've got to check all of your exam data and make sure that there aren't any messages there about supporting documents. And just generally, if you have an exemption from Irish or a third language, this should be showing up on your application. If you have an NUI exemption, apologies, and or a TCD exemption, both of these should show in your CAO application. And if they don't, you need to go back to TCD or back to the NUI and contact them and arrange to make sure that your exemption is applied to your application. So exams, are all exams mentioned as well? So if you're repeating the Leaving Cert, make sure that you have this year's Leaving Cert and the prior sitting of the Leaving Cert listed, that the number is correct and the year is correct. So just make sure everything is there, everything that we need in order to assess your application, or that the colleges need in order to assess your application, and hopefully deem you eligible for an applicant, or for an offer, I should say. Noticing an error in May is perfectly fine. That's the time you want to spot the error or the omission, because everything can be rectified at that point. You don't want to be noticing an error in August when the offers come out and you haven't received an offer because something was incorrect. So please just maybe take 15-20 minutes to sit down and go through everything. And if you have a parent or a guardian who can sit with you and have a fresh pair of eyes on your application, that would also help.
Yeah, so you mentioned it there, and it's one of the pieces of advice I always give to sixth years, particularly, is don't ignore any correspondence from the CEO. They're not trying to spam you or anything. They really want you to read the email, have a look. They might be asking you to do something. That's one piece of advice I always give. The cao.ie/handbook is generally where all the answers are if you have any questions at all. But what sort of final advice would you give to CEO applicants ahead of the CEO opening up?
I suppose the main advice would be get started early. You can come back. Your application isn't something that you do in one sitting. So get registered, get your CAO application number, and get in the habit of revisiting your application, updating your qualification details, popping in some courses there, and then going back and editing those courses as you find new courses that you're interested in, or as you do more research. And then watch out, as you said, for the emails from CAO, but particularly watch out for the statement of application email in May, and make sure that everything is complete and correct. But ultimately, list your courses in genuine order of preference, and you will get the course highest up on your list that you are deemed entitled to.
And Eileen, we're going to have you back on towards the end of the academic year, and we'll talk about offers and the statement of application, whatever applicants need to do at that stage. But for now, Eileen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast.
Thanks, Donnchadh.